Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In case of rain or any other suboptimal weather outside, you could seat yourself comfortably in a suitable shelter and listen to a cassette or CD Relación de las cosas de Yukatán of the Russian project QuetzalQoatl, released in 2021. On the cover there is a welcoming yellowish brick road, promising a trip through Mexican desert thorns to the stairways to heaven on the slope of a ritual pyramid. The clouds have respectfully parted around its top, and thus the way to space for a curious music lover seems to be open. While listening to this album, you are going to experience something similar to the imaginary trip down the road on the cover. Get ready to walk through the thorns of occult Polish death black metal to reach the promised land of the Maya civilization. Well, actually, the trip is going to be quite comfortable. This musical spacecraft is going to lift off softly to the tunes of the introductory acoustic song, titled just like the album Relación de las cosas de Yukatán, which means something like Notes on the State of Things in Yukatán. This song is going to lift the listeners into the atmosphere of medieval exotic magic to prepare them for the things to come. Those things to come are merciless death black attack of sound in the Polish style, in the vein of Hate, Behemoth and others, with a lot of various melodies, rhythms and techniques, from reverberating arpeggios and ritualistic shouts to supersonic tremolos and meaty brutal chugging. The vocals range from extreme low growling and desperate screaming to clean singing performed by both men and women. The powerful growling in the first half of the album was regurgitated by the famous vocalist Dmitry Orlov from the band Fetal Decay, which guarantees satisfaction of meat lovers with the most exquisite tastes. Actually, nobody will be left dissatisfied. The only grumbling comments might come in regard of programmed drums, but they sound pretty natural and don't stick out in the mix to avoid arousing any negative feelings. What also doesn't stick out though in the mix is the noisy guitar solo in the track Sacred Lands. In fact, it is buried in the sound, so one can't but question the reasons for this choice of production. Sometimes though, there is place in the mix for the muscular bass, like at the end of the song Return to Mictlan, with a nice melodic riff, which can only be applauded. In the middle of the musical trip through imaginary medieval Mexico, some space-time anomaly gets activated, which teleports you for almost 10 minutes into Norway to the tunes of the cover of the enslaved rich song Større tid, tyngre natt. It sounds nice and organic, so that most people are not going to notice any turbulence and will just continue the flight over the used to death metal landscapes. In the middle of track 8, titled Fear and Hatred, there will be an impressive cacophonous guitar solo. And in the end, the landing comes softly, just like the takeoff, to the sound of subtle, clean guitars and mystical sounds. Somebody is muttering something in a menacing way, and later a lady joins with some operatic vocals to enhance the psychoactive effect, so that you could dreamily miss the final stop and go fly another round. Despite the clever instrumental skills and rich utilized techniques, I cannot say that this trip is going to surprise an experienced music lover, so you will need to concentrate and show some patience. To entertain you during the flight, there are some generously written lyrics about Mayan people, their beliefs and rituals, that are described in the book Relación de las cosas de Yukatán, written in 1566 by Diego de Landa, who was a Spanish Franciscan bishop of the Roman Catholic Church of Yukatán. This is a guy with a character that is something of a mixed bag. He burned almost all the Mayan manuscripts that would have been very useful in deciphering Maya script, knowledge of Maya religion and civilization, and the history of the American continent. Nonetheless, his work in documenting and researching the Maya was indispensable in achieving the current understanding of their culture, to the degree that some scholars assert that 99% of what we today know of the Mayas we know as the result of what Landa has told us. The plethora of letters and new vocabulary might make some people dizzy. I recommend them to relax and enjoy the excursion. Who doesn't dream to go from Russia to Mexico, Norway or Poland? This CD is a perfect opportunity to make this dream come true, if only for 47 minutes. 6 Romeos out of 10.